Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to echo the remarks yesterday from colleagues on both sides of the aisle and speak in support about the historic gun deal that was announced last week. I want to thank my colleagues on both sides of the aisle and the governor and his team for finding a path to compromise and allowing us to keep Virginians safer. Yesterday, my colleague from Arlington spoke in detail about the important step this deal will take when it comes and as it relates to background checks. That part of the deal will go a long way in keeping guns away from people that should not have one. Yet some already have guns they shouldn't. I would like to discuss the part of the deal that pertains to those subject to permanent protective orders in possession of a firearm. This is such an important step. The bill, when it becomes law, will save the lives of Virginians who are currently living in domestic violence situations. This agreement will hold domestic abusers and other individuals subject to permanent protective orders accountable. Currently, Virginia law states that a person subject to a protective order is prohibited from purchasing or transporting a firearm, but it does not require those individuals to relinquish their guns in possession. This is a loophole that many of us have tried for a long time to address. This bill would prohibit a person subject to a permanent protective order from possessing a firearm for the duration of that order. This bill will make Virginia only the 16th state to require these individuals to surrender their firearms. Permanent protective orders are issued by a judge on the preponderance of evidence and can last up to 2 years and can be extended. This bill requires the subject of the protective order to transfer or sell his or her firearms within 24 hours. Individuals who violate the protective order by transporting, purchasing, or possessing a firearm are guilty of a Class 6 felony, which results in an automatic removal of their gun ownership rights for life and is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. This bipartisan action will result in new laws that are a direct answer to tragic and preventable gun crimes that are happening in the Commonwealth right now. Last year in Virginia, there were 112 deaths due to domestic violence. Studies show that women are 500 times more likely to die in a domestic violence situation if there are guns in the home. 500 times more likely. Under this legislation, victims of domestic abuse will be more likely to seek a protective order, knowing that their abuser will be forced to turn over their firearms. This will also reduce the fear and intimidation of victims and their children who know that the abuser has a firearm within reach. I know that nobody is happy with all the parts of this deal. I understand. The path to compromise is rarely easy. But we are here, and I truly appreciate the hard work so many people put onto this deal on both sides of the aisle. Most important to me is that this deal will provide some measure of safety to victims of domestic abuse. By making this deal, which I know was very difficult for so many on both sides, Governor McAuliffe is taking and making a big step, one that'll keep more Virginians safe. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.